Welcome back, welcome back. So, I'm just relaxing, and I stumbled upon this video that seems, sound the horns, very strange. Like, I'm a little confused now, and if any of my viewers can help me, you know. So, what I'm about to play is Elon Musk talking at a convention for people, and this is released an hour ago. And it's like cut up, it looks like, as I'm watching it, he's talking, but it seems like they cut the thing, maybe to make the speech shorter. But I don't know how to really take this, so we're gonna let Elon talk to use. Fair use.
When you think about the question of where are the aliens, which I get asked a lot, this is like the Fermi paradox. Where are the aliens? And I've not seen any evidence that there are aliens on Earth. A lot of people think there are aliens on Earth, and I'm like, great, I'd like to meet one. For a while there, when I was getting my green card and everything, it said alien registration card. I'm like, okay. But this question of where are the aliens is, I think, a very profound one, because I'm aware of no evidence of aliens whatsoever, which means that I think we're probably alone. And if you look at the history
Oh, this is a month ago on this guy's channel. I'm sorry, I thought that said an hour.
of Earth, like how long has Earth been around? If assuming that physics is correct, the universe is about 13.8 billion years old. Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. When you think about the how old is civilization, I think the right measuring point for civilization, in my view, or a good measuring point would be the advent of writing. So the first writing is generally considered to be the ancient Sumerians. Where are they now? They died out, but about 5,500 years ago. It was archaic pre-cuneiform. In fact, I suggest it's like an interesting rabbit hole to read about the history of writing. So if you consider, say, like, okay, civilization, I think if you don't have writing, you kind of need writing for civilization. It's only been around for like a little over 5,000 years out of 4.5 billion years that Earth has been around.
That's like, that's strange. So, technically saying everything has been around for billions of years, but humanity, man, has only been around 5,000 years. I've never actually heard a scientist or someone say it like that. Then, this is Mr. SpaceX himself, and he says he sees no signs of alien on Earth. That's strange.
And the 13.8 billion years of the universe. So all of human civilization is basically the blink of an eye. It's like just a fraction. It's nothing.
Wow, that's what my father said about your existence. That's the exact reason why he said, "Follow my ways." You think your life is really long, but it means nothing in the grand scheme of things. And that's amazing.
And I think that probably means that consciousness is incredibly rare and perhaps fleeting. It may not last for very long, because otherwise I think we would have seen aliens, some kind of sign of aliens. I think the most likely explanation is that consciousness is so rare that it ends.
So, what are all the weird things we see in the sky all the time? All these videos, all these years of all these people talking, what are those then?
Does that consciousness actually extend to another planet? Does that consciousness extend to another star system? I mean, ultimately, if we're able to become a spacefaring civilization, a multi-planet species, and ultimately a multi-stellar species, and go out there and explore all these star systems, I think we may find that there are many long-dead one-planet civilizations. And as you've heard me say before, we don't want to be one of those lame one-planet civilizations. I mean, we want to be a multi-planet civilization, ultimately be a multi-stellar civilization be out there among the stars. Like, make science fiction not fiction forever. Kind of make Star Trek real. That's why I think that there's a high urgency to making life multiplanetary, because this is the first time in Earth's 4.5 billion year history that it's been possible to extend life or consciousness beyond Earth. And we've got to do that while civilization is still strong. So that's the overarching goal of the company, is extend life sustainably to another planet. Mars is the only option, really. And to do, ideally before World War III, or some...
Sound the train horns, long range. That's weird. He's really trying to get off this fucking planet for some reason.
It's kind of a bad thing. The key thing is that we need enough people and enough tonnage on Mars such that Mars can survive and continue consciousness even if something would happen to it.
Sound the horns, long range.
Earth. Now, I still think, well, obviously, I'm not talking about abandoning Earth or anything like that, and we want Earth to be as good as possible for as long as possible, but there are some things that may be outside of our control. So we want to just get Mars to be a self-sustaining civilization as...
Wait up. You're not in control of things? The Earth can... Well, yeah, you know.
As quickly as possible. And I think this
I think my daddy's in control of things.
And this, giant Starship factory that we're building is obviously key to that. And the launch sites that we're building here and at the Cape and elsewhere in the future will be key to that. So let's just go through that.
So he's actually building Star Wars. They're actually starting the Star Wars program. You get it? I mean, that's what it's always been about for a long time since we've been shooting them rockets up there, right? Everybody's been thinking, sound the horns, that there may be life and blah, blah, blah. And I guess we've reached the pinnacle of science where they could do it?
The Falcon will go for Flight 3 of Starship. MI2.
Go.
Stage 1.
Go.
Stage 2.
Go.
Flight directors go for push.
So we want to just get Mars to be a self-sustaining civilization as quickly as possible. And I think this can be done in around 20 years. And this, giant Starship factory that we're building is also...
20 years. He believes it's going to be possible to go to Mars in 20 years from now. That's good to know.
As a Muslim, I wouldn't go to heaven.
As a Muslim, if you reject the deity of Christ, if you reject his death on the cross for your sin, you will go to hell, Jesus.
As a Muslim, I wouldn't go to heaven.
As a Muslim, if you reject the deity of Christ, if you reject his death on the cross for your sin, you will go to hell, Jesus said.
By saying that I'll go to hell because I'm Muslim, you essentially are judging me and taking on the role of God, who is the only one who can pass judgment, who is the only one who will deem who will enter his kingdom, correct?
Good question. When I say slavery is wrong, am I being judgmental?
No, that's common sense.
The rape of a woman is wrong. Is that me being judgmental?
No.
When Jesus says, judge not, lest ye be judged, he's not saying, suspend your critical thinking and accept everything as equally valid. Because 14 verses later in Matthew 7:15, Jesus says, beware of false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they're ferocious wolves. Now, Muhammad claimed to be a prophet of God. And when you read the Quran and take it seriously, obviously Muhammad contradicts Jesus. If I'm a follower of Christ, be it Muhammad, be it Joseph Smith, I'm going to say, I'm sorry, I'm convinced those are false prophets. It's not me being self-righteously judgmental. It's a simple issue of truth.
As a...
You know what's funny? What did Jesus say in the Bible about who he came to save? Did he say he came to save the whole world? Or did he say, I only came here for Israel? I only came to redeem them. I died for them. Or did it not say that? Then, last time I checked, Abraham had sex with Hagar and created Ishmael, and that would make him cousins. Get it? Because Ishmael started the Islam thing. So wouldn't he have the same God as his father? Right? Because his mother would teach him about the Most High. That's why she left. And then wouldn't he command him to write a book? Sound the horns, long range, right? I mean, that's what the story says. I don't know if it says that he's supposed to write a book, but I do remember Abraham, he had that baby, his first son. And then it says that they were the progenitors of those people. So, being Muslim does not just mean you go directly down. Believing in false prophets, yes. What did the book say of who's supposed to be teaching the faith and all those things? You, the Christian, or the people of the book? Because she looks like a person of the book, and you look like a white guy. And it's so funny when, like, the knowledge that I have in my mind, I'm like, wait up, this is like the most weirdest thing I've ever seen. Someone that's not supposed to teach the book telling someone that believes in their book that says they're cousins of the people that the book you're believing in, and you're saying what you're saying. Doesn't that sound strange? Let's do a little investigation.
Abraham had always been faithful to God, and in exchange received many blessings from him. But his
Salute.
greatest gift had yet to come. Abraham and his wife Sarah were old and had no offspring. Therefore, Abraham did not have an heir. Using a vision, God told Abraham that he would finally have the son he so much wanted. It was nighttime, and God asked him to look up at the sky, trying to count the endless bright stars. And, like the stars, he said that Abraham's offspring would be numerous, and...
You understand that, right? The Lord said, if you do what I tell you to do, your people will be like the number of the stars. Now start counting. Do you know what that means? That means they're always going to be here. They're not going anywhere. No matter what in the world can possibly happen, we will be here. Start looking up the things that have happened and how we're still here.
Inherit God's given land. But their descendants would be pilgrims, being subjected to...
Yeah, we ain't gonna let you pass that.
Stars. He said that Abraham's offspring would be numerous and inherit God's given land. But their descendants would be pilgrims, being subjected to slavery in lands ruled by others. They would remain captives for...
We're not gonna let you pass that.
And inherit God's given land. But their descendants would be pilgrims, being subjected to slavery in lands ruled by others. They would remain captives for 400 years, but in the end, they would find great sources of wealth and inherit the promised land.
Oh.
Abraham believed in the Lord's promise, but his wife Sarah...
No, the whole world's going to the promised land. Every nation, everybody. Everybody deserves it. Everybody. Join in. Yeah, I think you should really pick up the thing you say you believe in, that book, and actually read it, because people been telling people things, but, you know, what someone says and what it says, what really matters.
But, in the end, they would find great sources of wealth and inherit the promised land. Abraham believed in the Lord's promise, but his wife Sarah was already too old to have children. His wife believed that God's will did not regard her as someone capable of giving an heir to Abraham. She then presented her beautiful young Egyptian slave to him, so that Abraham could have his son with her.
Yeah, we're not going to let you pass that. Pay attention, ladies.
Her as someone capable of giving an heir to Abraham. She then presented her beautiful young Egyptian slave to him, so that Abraham could have his son with her. He united himself with Hagar, and she gave him his first child, named Ishmael.
Could you imagine loving your husband so much that you're old now, right? And you's like only seen human stuff. You never seen no one fucking 60, 70, 80. We ain't never seen no old 80-year-old woman, dropping it like it's hot, get it? So she's like, I never seen nothing like this. No one's ever seen it before. That's why they call it miracles. And I know the Lord's real, but I can't fathom in my brain how this is gonna happen. So, you know what? I love my husband. We got this slave girl. She's young. She can have babies. Let's get this people going. Let's get this thing going. Can you say sacrifice?
The boy's fate was to be the patriarch of a great nation, and his descendants would spread throughout the land.
Oh, we're not going to let you pass that.
And his first child, named Ishmael. The boy's fate was to be the patriarch of a great nation, and his descendants would spread throughout the land.
Oh.
Ishmael would give origin to the Arab people, who would later evolve around the Islamic culture.
Oh.
But Ishmael was not the son who would inherit the promised land, since Abraham would be the father of many nations. God,
we're not going to let you pass that,
who would later evolve around the Islamic culture. But Ishmael was not the son who would inherit the promised land, since Abraham would be the father of many nations.
So, the man that discovered God on his own goes on a holy mission, brings his older wife with him, and all of this. They find Hagar, go through the little scuffle with the king, get rid of him, all that bullshit, sound the horns, and then, they don't kind of believe on God. They don't trust God with all their heart and their might, but they love God and they know He's real, but they don't trust Him enough. So they, let him do what he's got to do, and he has a son, and then the Lord goes, yeah, that's in my plan anyway. I knew you were going to do that. He's going to be those are your cousins. And they're going to run shit over there. They're going to run shit. And you're going to run shit over there.
Who would later evolve around the Islamic culture. But Ishmael was not the son who would inherit the promised land, since Abraham would be the father of many nations. God again.
Many nations. If he goes and has a baby with his original wife, that's only 2 nations. Many means many.
And bless Abraham. Due to this blessing, his wife Sarah, albeit old, became pregnant and gave Abraham another child. Sarah's would be called Isaac, and his descendants would create a great nation.
Big dog.
As a sign of the pact between the people of Abraham and God, every man and child were circumcised. The offspring of God's chosen one.
Are you circumcised? Did you know that? Did you know that's why you got circumcised? Or do you just think people do it just to do it? I don't know. I know when I first heard that, I said, wait up. They was doing that all the way back then? I thought that was a new thing. when you're young and you're learning things, you're like, whoa, how much is new and how much is old?
The offspring of God's chosen ones started to multiply, but the number of degenerate men multiplying in 2 cities that were the den of sin was also vast.
Oh.
These were the target of God's rage, cities known as Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh. Okay.
People don't know how to raise children. So my kid came to me and he said, Daddy, people don't know how to raise children. So my kid came to me and he said, Daddy, the wheel came off my toy car. And he gave it to me. So I said, so it did. I threw it in the garbage. And I went back to my magazine. And then I watched that lower lip part off. Couldn't stop laughing. I said, what's the matter? He said, you throw it in the way. I said, I get your baby toys where the wheels don't come off. He said, well, maybe I can fix it. So I gave it to him again. And he's sitting on the couch and he gets it together. In just a minute or two, gets it together. Then you pick up. How did you do that? It's wonderful. He says, I'm not that little. But how did you do it? See the hole in the wheel, yes. See the piece of iron sticking up? I put the hole on a push button. I said, that's wonderful. But if you say, here, let Daddy do it, let Mommy do it, you produce a blob. You know what that means? You solve all your kids' problems. You have to put things upon them. People don't know how to...
Now, one thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth. There's no place to go. The Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth.
Really?
We cannot leave the Earth.
We cannot leave the Earth.
The Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth. There's no place to go.
Well, that's very strange because he said that 6 years ago, supposedly, and then said this 7 years ago.
When enamel is gone,
There is. Do you think that there is life outside of Earth, intelligent life in the universe?
Absolutely, there is life elsewhere, and almost certainly intelligent life. It has to be. The odds are just overwhelming. There's 200 billion stars in this galaxy. Well, now it looks like every star has about 10 planets, and the habitable zone for a planet is much wider than anybody used to think. So there's almost certainly intelligent life. But then you get into the Christmas tree problem. Have you heard this? So does a civilization blink on while another one's blinking on, or do the lights blink off and they miss each other? When you're talking about billions of years, 13.6 billion years, it's easy to miss each other.
Okay, Bill Nye, the science guy, either you or Elon is right. Yo, like, what's going on? Let's see what Stephen Hawkins has to say about this.
Professor Stephen Hawking and other scientists believe that to secure the future of the human species, we must colonize another planet.
To stay risks annihilation. It could be an asteroid hitting the Earth. It could be a new virus, climate change, nuclear war, artificial intelligence gone rogue. We can and must use our curiosity and intelligence to look to the stars. We must do it now before humanity is overtaken by some disaster.
Okay, so he says we can. Wow. It only takes seconds.
Stephen Hawking in his latest book says God, bah, humbug. He can prove the non-existence of God because there was no time for God to create the universe at the instant of the Big Bang. Time started with the Big Bang, therefore there was no time for God to create a universe, i.e. there's no God. I think that's...
All right, I'm not as smart as Stephen Hawkins, and I don't know if Stephen Hawkins read the Bible, but the Bible says the Lord lives outside of time. That's you get it? He created it. He created time and space. He's in a different. All right, well, let me shut up.
It's a flaw in that argument. Because Einstein's theory of gravity breaks down at the instant of the Big Bang, that's why he spent 30 years of his life chasing after a higher theory. And what does string theory say? Well, Einstein says the universe is a bubble. We live on the skin of the bubble, and the bubble's expanding. That's called the Big Bang theory. String theory says there are other bubbles out there. There's a bubble bath of universes, and universes are being formed all the time. Big bangs are happening even as we speak. So we have this bubble bath of universes. Right. So there was something before Genesis, chapter 1, verse 1. There was something before the Big Bang. And we're going to detect gravity waves from the instant of creation with gravity wave detectors in outer space one day. We should find evidence, we should find baby pictures of the instant of the Big Bang, and maybe we'll find evidence of an umbilical cord. An umbilical cord connecting our baby universe to a parent universe.
So our universe is just one bubble in a lot of different, like a foam of bubbles.
That's right.
And we're just one of those bubbles.
That's right. Yeah. And for me, that's good because, you see, I was raised as a Buddhist, and in Buddhism, there's no such thing as God, there's only nirvana, timelessness. But my parents wanted me to be as American as possible because they were in a concentration camp during World War II. So they sent me to Presbyterian Sunday school. I learned all about Genesis and all about the parables. So I've had these two conflicting ideas in my head for years, but now we can meld them together into a single theory.
Oh.
Our universe had a genesis. Our universe had a Big Bang. There was an explosion, but these explosions take place all the time. Universes keep budding off other universes. And what is the universe expanding into? Expanding into another bigger arena, the arena of 11-dimensional hyperspace. Therefore, our bubble is expanding in nirvana. And so here we have a beautiful...
All right, I'm going to stop that because that sounds really cute. But what you're saying is we're the new universe and there's multiple bubbles. So that would mean there's a beginning universe. You still can't escape my father. You can't. No matter what stupid theories you come up with, you're not going to escape the one. You get it? You can't. And besides that, if we're the newest universe or dimension, then that would mean there has to be other things, and they're watching us, and they should be able to come here whenever they want. No help. No, we need to go meet them, or we gotta... No, they're watching. Period. Get it? So when you come up with your... We gotta contact things or whatever. No. They're watching. Because you said it yourself. It's a bubble universe effect. Billions of years. Ancient... Well, somebody's had to develop, and if we developed all the things that we developed on this planet, in this reality, then that means there's shit they're watching. Get it? My father's watching. These niggas be using the craziest scenarios. Really think about how he said it's like a bubble bath effect. Like, how does the bubble start like that? Oh, someone turns the bubbles on. You get it? A kid's supposed to ask that question. Like, wait up. If it's multiple bubble universes, what started the first bubble and then it bubbled? You get it? You're not getting away from my father. All love, all praise to the Most High. You guys have a good night. 'Cause, I wish Snoop would come around.